right, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm delighted to see everyone here with us in our Global Future Alliance International webinar series. Today, I am delighted to introduce Ariel Aviram. He is a doctoral student at the Geography Department at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, working under the supervision of Professor Eran Fetislan and Dr. Shira Bokin-Pelez. He holds a dual BA degree in Geography, Middle Eastern with African Studies, and 2 MA degrees in Political Science and International Development from Tel Aviv University. His current research explores different approaches to sustainable development, focusing on the food, energy, water nexus concept. The Red Lines methodology is central to his research, a tool he uses to define safe and just spaces, identify community needs, and evaluate potential scenarios. As part of it, he actively seeks innovative ways to apply knowledge and technologies to enhance the quality of life of poor communities worldwide. So thank you so much for joining us, and I'll go ahead and stop sharing so you can go ahead and share your screen, Ariel.
Okay, so hello everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Ariel. As Amy said, I'm a PhD student in the Hebrew University. I study different approaches to sustainable development. I focused on the food, energy, water nexus. And today I chose to talk about a project that I conducted 2 years ago that related to what I'm doing in my PhD. But it's the core, it's the basic of what I do. So 2 years ago, I was conducting my thesis work, thinking about what to do. And I conducted collaboration with Innovation Africa, that is Israeli NGO that work in several countries in Africa, conducted water engineering projects in the remote communities. And I was meeting them, and after a few meetings, we were thinking together what the thing that I can do for them, and also for me to understand the needs of the local communities. And we understand that that we wanted to measure socioeconomic development, but it's very difficult to measure socioeconomic development in places that people don't have bank accounts, that people live very far away. So we were thinking what will be the best way to measure socioeconomic development following technology interventions in these places. And and then in the end we decided to go on a nutrition security measure. And why nutrition? What is exactly nutrition security? Okay, when we're talking about nutrition security is unlike food security. Nutrition security, we talk about the diversity, how much the diversity of food consumption. For example, when we measure food security, we're talking about the consumptions of calories, like how many calories a person consume for a day, for example. And when we measure nutrition security, we talk about the diverse of food that a person consumes for a day. And we wanted to know like how the interventions, the technological interventions of Water of Innovation Africa impact this. And the reason that we wanted to know it, because we wanted to know which kind of changes occur in these communities. Because as I said before, it's very difficult to know what exactly happened following after a few years, 2 years after intervention. Okay, I can come to a village that is a post-intervention village, And I can see that there is a change. But if I want to measure the change, I want to measure the numbers, I want to really understand what happens, it's really hard to collect data in these communities about a change that's happening through time, following time. But what I can do measure, it's nutrition security. So it's more easy to understand, for example, what is the quality of the food that people consume and the amount of food that people consume. So it's something that is more easy for us to track the changes following time. So when we talk about water problems and water security in Tanzania. So Tanzania is basically, it's a country that blessed with food, blessed with water, right? There is a big big water reserves in Tanzania. Like basically every place that you go in Tanzania, you can see that there is a lot of water, a lot of nature, a lot of food. Like this country is blessed. So like basically the problem in Tanzania is not the amount of water, but there is water, it's the accessibility of water. It's a it's a it's a policy failure, it's infrastructure failure, like how to deliver the water from one part of the country to other part of the country, right? So even if I live, for example, in a rural village in the Dodoma region of Tanzania, so there is a lot of chance that underneath my feet there is a lot of water, but to get this water and to bring this water to the community, it's a big challenge. So it's a big challenge. So we decided, second, okay. So
You're on mute, Ariel.
okay, sorry. So okay, so we focus on the Dodoma region in Tanzania. The Dodoma region in Tanzania, it's a region that basically have two seasons. We have the dry season and the wet season, and there is the difference between the water shortage that we have in the dry season and in the and in the wet season is there's a big challenge of water. The challenge is different. So in the wet season, we have a lot of we have water, right? There is a lot of rain. We can go and collect water very close to to our, to our house, to our village. Most of the sources of water it's puddles or streams. For example, I can go and collect water from this swamp. As you see, this lady collect water, or like local well. But the problem with this water is that they are not safe for drinking. Like think about it, this swamp is in the lowest place in the area. So after the rain, the water take with them all the feces and all the animal waste and all the things that animals left live in the area, and then people come and drink it and take it to their house, and they use this water for cooking and drinking and so on. So there is a lot of water in the area, but the quality of the water is very bad. Like we took samples for this water and we found that there is a lot of E. coli and waterborne diseases inside this water. Other method to collect water is to collect water from the roof. People that have that a little bit more that have a little bit higher quality of life, are able to buy tin roofs. And these tin roofs, it's not just a better roof that help you to be dry in the winter, it's also help you to collect water. You can, as you see this lady, put buckets underground, and this way she collect water. So this water it's a high quality, but as you see, the method that they're using is not efficient. But it's not an efficient way to collect water, and obviously in the dry season you don't have rain, so you cannot just rely on that. At the dry season, it's completely other story. Because there is a big scarce of water, because there is no rain, and most of the wells are dry, and people have to go a long distance to collect water. And because that most of the wells are dry and they have to go a long way to collect water, they need to pay money for the water. So they have to use privately owned wells, and to pay to the owner of the well money. And sometimes they need also to pay for someone to will transport the water for them. Like, think that they need to rent a donkey or to pay for other people to collect the money, the water for them. So water become expensive. And not just the water become expensive, they pay a lot of money, and also the water is not in a good quality. So they need also to pay money to the owner of the well. They also need to pay money for water transportation. And in the end, they get poor quality water. And they need to carry it for a very long distance. Another way to collect water is, let's say, I've got some luck, and in the rain season, I have a river that go next to my village. So at dry season, I can go there and I can dig with my hands. As you can see, these girls are not walking. Okay. I was thinking I was freezing. You hear me well? It's working? Okay. So as you can see here, on the right, you can see that people are going to the river point, and they dig with their hands and they collect water. So this water is also, it's very bad quality. It's the lowest points of the area. All this water contains E. coli and waterborne diseases, and to collect and to use this water for cooking and drinking, it's not a good thing. And because of this, a lot of people in this region have waterborne diseases, and they don't feel good for half of the year in most of the places that or villages that we visit. This is one of the main problem that causes people to get sick, that they drink this kind of water, that water with a very bad condition. And this is where Innovation Africa, the organization that I work with, come into the picture. So Innovation Africa is an Israeli NGO that is conducting water intervention technologies it's a water engineering project in rural communities in Tanzania. Basically, the project is a water tower. They got the energy by solar energy panels, and is distributing the water to distribution points, transporting the water to distribution points that look like this, to specific location in the village or near the village. And you have at least 400 meters between point to point. And why it's important? Because the distance to water, as I will show you later, have a lot of impact on the community. As smaller the distance to the distribution point, to the point of the water, this is what we find, that as closer that you live to the water source, the quality of your life is getting higher. Okay, this is something that we discover here. So basically, this is the intervention. So we have the solar panels, we have 10,000 liter tank, we have the borehole, we pump, extract water, and the water going to distribution points in the village. Of course, before the intervention, we have we also we conduct a geological survey. The community need to vote if they want to projects. They need also to vote for a water committee. The water committee do the management of the intervention. Completely, they're self-reliant. Also, the Innovation Africa train people from the community to be able to maintain the water tower and to maintain the project. If there are problems that can fix them alone. And one of the most important things of this project that the water costs money for the people of the village. Why the water costs money and they are not for free? Because there's, first of all, because this is the most efficient way that people will not waste the resource. And the second thing, the money they collect is going to a community bank account, and then the community have money to maintain the project. And if they have problem, they can bring someone to fix it. They can also do orders and buy other parts for the pipe or for the solar panels, and they can do it. It's completely alone by their own budget. So they have their own budget, money budget. They have their own budget for the well. And they can be completely self-reliant, and they don't need anyone outside the community for problem that they have. And this is very important. So basically, what we try to understand here. So we wanted to know how this kind of intervention have impact of these people life. Like, we understand that there is some change, but we want to know what is the socioeconomic change. Okay, like what happened in these communities 1 year, 2 years after the intervention. What is the socioeconomic aspects of this intervention 2 years after they happened? How the community looks like 2 years after. Okay, so to measure it, we focused on nutrition security. Why nutrition security? Because we can quantify nutrition security into numbers, and later I will show it. So we use control and treatment method. What is controlled treatment? Like, we randomly choose 4 villages that don't have access to clean water. Like, they didn't like, from the area, 4 villages that Innovation Africa didn't work there. We randomly selected 4 villages like this, and another we randomly selected villages that Innovation Africa conducted the intervention in these villages. And what we expected is that without the intervention, without the Innovation Africa intervention, both villages will have like equal results in what we measure. But following the intervention, we accept to see different results, because we accept the intervention have impact on what we are going to check. And so, as I said, we conduct our survey in 8 villages in total, 4 treatment and 4 control. Our sample size for the quantitative questionnaires that later I will explain which kind of questionnaire they are, was 436 households. It's a big sample Like we've been in the field around 5 months to collect the data with a local team, and it's took us some time. And another thing that we've done, we also conduct 36 qualitative interviews with key people in the communities to understand causality. So we didn't want just to get the numbers, like the score of nutrition security level for each village. We also was important for us to understand the causality. What happened through the way that makes the numbers to look the way they look. So the nutrition security measurement that we use we use the FAO tools to measure nutrition security. So the first one that we use, called the food consumption score, this tool help us to understand what people consume 7 days in the last 7 days. Okay, which kind of food groups people in the village, people in the household consume which kind of food groups, and we in this way we measure consumption. The second tool that we use, called household dietary diversity score. This tool is not just measure consumption; it's also measure diversity, and it's also measure the quality of food group. For example, and we also ask for 24 hours because our assumption is that people more tend to remember what they eat in the last 24 hours than what they ate in the last week, in the last 7 days. But it's also important for us. We want to get some understanding what you ate in the last 7 days, but it's more reliable to ask what you ate in the last 24 hours because more chance that you will remember. So we ask people, for example, what year you ate in yesterday. So if they tell you, for example, I eat fruits, I eat chicken, or I eat cheese. Each one of these food groups have different kind of population, and then we can know the consumption. What is the different type of food groups that you ate, and we can calculate the quality of these food groups, the nutrition quality of these food groups. And then we can give to every household, we can give a nutrition security level score. And then we can calculate from household, we can calculate the household score. From there, we can calculate the village score and the group score. Like, what is the situation of nutrition security in this village? Another thing that we check, we also took a MUAC. MUAC, it's you measure the arm size of children, like to understand if there is a problem of calories consumption. But it's another thing that we've done. It's just for us to get more comprehensive understanding of what's happened. Another thing that we wanted to know if people have kitchen gardens, because our assumption was that if people have more water, more access to water, they will be able to irrigate and maybe to be able to consume a vegetable that they didn't have before. So we wanted to know if people have a kitchen garden and which kind of vegetable they are growing in these gardens. We also took a water sampling because this is we most done it in the control group because we wanted to understand what is the situation of the water that people drink. As I told you before, we find a lot of E. coli in the water resources that people use. E. coli and other. We found that the water was in very bad quality, like people drink water that they are not supposed to drink. Okay. And as I told you before, we conduct 36 interviews with key people in the communities. And what we wanted to know is, we wanted to find the causality. So it's not just important for us to understand, okay, this village, this core of nutrition security, we wanted to understand why it's happened. So we conducted interviews with teachers, with school teachers, because we wanted to understand what is the water and food conditions of kids in the schools, in the villages that we visit. We also conducted interviews with village munikitis. Village munikitis is the head of the village. We want to understand for them, okay, for example, in a treatment group, we wanted to understand, okay, now that you have accessibility and availability of water, what you do with this water. You irrigate kitchen gardens, you cook more, then you sell what you cook. Like, we wanted to understand what is the difference. We also interview entrepreneurial women, especially women, because one of the things that we discover, that I will talk about it later, that because in these communities, women are the ones that are responsible to collect the water, and they're investing a lot of time to collect water. Now, following the intervention, they have more time. And the thing that happened after, because women have more time, and they are the ones that are responsible for the family, they open small initiatives, they open small businesses. It can be a small grocery store, or she cook at home, then she sell it and to earn more money. And these women are entrepreneur, are women. So we wanted to ask them question about the transition, what happened. We wanted to learn about it. And another, also we conduct interviews with government officials to understand what's going on, like in the villages, in the region, to get more comprehensive picture. And another thing, and another group of people that we interview is the water committee. Water committee, as I told you before, in villages where Innovation Africa working, the village needs to choose water committee. Most of the time, it needs to be 4 men and 4 women. There are this committee are responsible to manage all the intervention projects. Okay, for the community needs. If someone, for example, also to manage the water and also to manage the community needs. If, for example, they need more water to certain aim or certain thing that they decide that they want. So this community, their responsibility is to manage this this resource for the community. And also we wanted to learn about what happened in the community, because we assume that this group of people know more than the other on what's going on in the community. Okay, so here's the results. So the first thing that we check is the distance of people from their water source. Okay, what we figured out that in the control group, most of the people need to walk average time of 2 hours, to each direction. It can be also these people that walk 4 hours, and people that walk 5 hours to each direction to collect water. So think about it, that woman wake up very early in the morning. She need to walk. She need to wait to the other group of women in the village to walk together, because it's not all the time safe to walk alone. And they need to go together. 2 hours or 3 hours to each direction. Also, some of the days they're coming to the well, and there is a lot of pressure because there is a lot of people that wait in line to collect water from the well. So they need to walk to invest all this time in each direction, and also to wait in line. And all this process is a time-consuming process. And what we saw in the treatment group, that is the biggest difference, is that the average time to the well, it's 10 minutes, because we have this distribution point that I told you about. 10 minutes to each direction. And this and the time that we earn here, it's what happened to all the rest of the change that I'm going to show you. Okay, so we found that the average time for the average time for to walk to the well, it's 10 minutes in the treatment group. It's 2 hours in the control group. And another thing that we found here, it's the nutrition security scores. Okay, the nutrition security scores, it show me the level of nutrition security, as I said before, to each household, and from each household to the village, and from there to the group, to the control or to the treatment. And we have 3 major categories. We have the poor category of nutrition security. We have the borderline category of nutrition security, and we have the acceptable category of nutrition security. What the difference between them? If I'm in the poor category, it's basically saying that I consume almost just one type of food group. The meaning in the Dodoma region that most of the people eat ogali. Ogali, it's a bread that make it, it's from grains that they have in this area. And most of the kids eat just this. They don't eat meat, they don't eat cheese, they don't eat vegetables or fruits. Think about that because this area they don't have access to electricity, okay? They don't have infrastructure, so they don't have access to electricity. They don't have access to water, like to infrastructure. So they are not able to store food. Think that if you not able to store food, you cannot eat something with a short shelf life. For example, if I buy apple in the market, I have to eat it maybe I have to eat it today, tomorrow, in a week. Maybe I will not able to eat this apple. Okay. Also think about meat. If I want to eat meat, I cannot put it in the refrigerator. So you have to eat it in the same day, that you buy it. And also for all the different kind of foods that we are in the Western world, like we get used to open the fridge and eat, but think how it's to live in a village that you don't have refrigerator. So most of the people there, most of the food they consume is it's bread or it's okra. Okay, it's something that have a long shelf life. But unfortunately, they cannot consume diverse kind of foods. Most of the food that the people in this category, they mostly eat bread and drink water. And another thing that I want to say about that is that that sometimes when you come to this village and you look over these people, you don't think that there is a problem. Why you don't think that there is a problem? Because the amount of calories that consume are there, it's okay. Because they eat a lot of bread. They eat 3 times a day they eat ugali. Okay, they eat 3 times a day ugali, but they eat just ugali. They don't eat fruits or vegetables or something else. They eat just the same thing. And the most problematic is for children, because if I separate it to different categories, for example, men, women, and children. Men are the ones that eat the best diverse food. The level of nutrition security of men's is the highest. It's the highest. After it's women, and at the bottom it's children. And later we'll explain why. But the bottom is children. Like most, even if in treatment group that they have high score of nutrition security, like in average, when you focus in children have the low score of nutrition security. So basically, children eat potato leaves and drink water and ugali. They don't eat fruits, they don't eat meat and anything else. And their development have a lot of problems. Like these kids, they're very difficult for them to concentrate in school. And sometimes you can see that there have a lot of development problems in this group of children. So as to the control and treatment group, so what we found is that in villages that post-intervention villages in the treatment group, we can see that the average score of nutrition security are in the acceptable category. That I don't say it's the best score, like 39, it's not the best score. It's not like Western world. It's not like in a developed country, but it's a good score. It's a good score for nutrition security. The meaning is, for example, that people maybe eat some vegetables, they maybe eat some, they eat ugali, maybe they eat meat once a week. They didn't eat meat at all before, and now they may be able to buy and eat to buy some meat and to eat meat once a week or twice a week. They may be also able to buy some eggs or some cheese and to consume them, things that they didn't have before, and now they have. And in the control group, you can see that the average score, it's borderline. So as I said before, the consumption of diverse food is low. It's not good. So it's not just the average score. It's not just the average score. If you can see here on the right, it's the amount of people in each category. For example, we can see a transition. What do I mean that we can see a transition? For example, we have people in the treatment group that have poor score of nutrition security. And these people mostly live in the peripheral area of the village, not close to the center. So they are far away from the distribution points, from the water point of the intervention. So even if in a village that is post-intervention village, you can find people that still live far away from the water source. That could be a problem. But as we can see that in the treatment group, like most of the people, if you go into the other categories of the acceptable and the borderline, you can see the majority of the people that have good score of nutrition security, they live at the treatment group, in the treatment group, and inside the treatment group, if I separate it to the different villages, so where I live inside the village have a lot of influence on my nutrition security score. Okay, if it's a village that is post-intervention village, if I live 10 minutes from the distribution points, or if I live half an hour from distribution points, it will impact my socioeconomic status. It also impacts my nutrition security score. And and I will explain later why. Here, what I wanted to show you that we have significance results. You know, in social science, we are not all the time used for significance results. And here we find significance results. I was very happy to see it. And what we can see it's the difference between the villages, okay? If you can see here in the treatment group, we can see that most of the people in the treatment group have high score of nutrition security. And there is a big distance between the people with acceptable category to the people with borderline category. You see, there is a big, with the green group to the orange group, there is a big distance. It's not that they are close to each other. It's between, we have 67% with people with high level of nutrition security. And the second class category, it's 28%. So we have a big difference between them. And what you can see here on the right, that in the control group, that we have people in the control group that have acceptable category, but the distance between them to the group beneath them, that is this group with not a good score of nutrition security, it's very close to each other. So you can see that it's also in the treatment group, our results that we have are more stable. Okay, the meaning is the intervention have a big impact on the nutrition security status and the socioeconomic status and the quality of life of people. And this is what we wanted to understand. So another thing that we've done is because we wanted to understand, okay, maybe it's not the intervention. Maybe something else happened in this region through this time that influenced the situation of the people that live there and the quality of their nutrition security, the quality of their socioeconomic status, and so on. So we find a study that conducted in the same region, the Doma region, in 2016, and we compared our results to what we found in 2021 to what happened in 2016. So we found that in 2016 the nutrition security level, the food security level, nutrition security level in the Doma region was not good. Okay, just 8% of the population had high level of dietary diversity. Okay, it's not good. 8% from a region of million, it's not good. From the region, like it's basically one village that we focus in. So sorry about it. So 8% on from a village that were selected in this area, just 8% of them have a good score of nutrition security, and all the rest, think about it, 57% with a medium score and 45% with low score of nutrition security. So that these people just eat bread, drink water, nothing else. It's not good. And what we found, like, if we compare it to the control group, right? The control group is the group that don't have access to clean water. Yeah, it's not the post-intervention villages. So we see that the situation got improved. Okay, we have a trend of improvement. But what, following the developments and following things that happen in the region, it's going to be billion of things that happen, right? But what we found is the following the intervention, the trend is accelerated. Okay, at the same time, okay, post-intervention and post-intervention and villages, okay, they don't have access to clean water. At the same time, you can see that in the post-intervention villages, the situation is much better in the aspect that we wanted to know. Okay, the nutrition security score are much better than in the control group. And if we compare it to 2016, there is a big gap. Okay, so what we can learn from it, that this area has been there is a development in this area. It can be related to transportation. It can be related to economical changes. It can be related to a lot of things that happen in the area through time. But what we can learn for it, that accessibility and availability of water going to accelerate this trend to be a lot better. Okay, to be there is a big impact of accessibility of ability of water to the socioeconomic aspect and to the nutrition security level of the communities that live there. And here we are going to the micro level. Here what we check, we wanted to know in each village, also in the control group and in the treatment group, we wanted to know, as I said before, each household, we calculate each household the distance from the water source, and we conduct a correlation to the nutrition score of this household. As what you can see here, that most of the households that have a high level of nutrition security live in a distance that 10 minutes from the water source. Okay, and as I said before, as you become more and more far away from the water source, your nutrition security level is going down, and if you live close to the water source, your nutrition security level is going up. Okay, so if for example you will see it in a map, so you can actually see the points and see that all the houses that live close to the well have a good nutrition results. Okay, and in the end of the day, as I said before, we didn't just want to know the nutrition security score. Okay, we wanted to understand what is the cause, what is the relation between accessibility and availability of water to the reason. I will go the first thing that happened, like people that we have more water available for drinking and cooking. So one of the ladies that I was interviewed there, so she told me, Ariel, think about it. That we need to go to the well in the morning. We are going to the well in the morning. We invest all this time. We come back with water. We use this water for some things. And then in the evening, for example, my child tell me that he's hungry, that he wants me to cook for him. And we use this water for other things. I'm not able to cook for him because the water source is far away. So if I need to cook, I need to go to the water source. It's 4 hours 4 hours walk distance from my house. So we are not able to go there and collect water. So we need to wait for the morning. Because we need to wait for the morning, we skipping meals. So it's something that happened to them a lot. It's people skipping meals. And another thing is because that most of the food that are culturally in this area, that most of the food they consume, it's like okra, grain based, or more different types of grain food. It's food that you have to cook to eat it. Okay, so. And as I said before, because they don't have electricity, that they're not able to store each kind of type of food that like we used to. So they need food with a long shelf life. So they have to the food that they can store. It's basically a food that to eat it you have to cook it. So if you don't have water in your house, you're not able to eat. So you need all the time water in your house to be able to cook and then to eat. So another thing that I talked about before, it's the economic improvement. So to the economic improvement, we have a few things that we found. Okay, one, it's the prices of water going down, and there is a few reasons to that. First of all, in dry season, as I told you before, people need to pay for transportation for the water. They need donkeys, and they need maybe other people to help them to carry the water, and they pay them money for that. And they also pay money to private own people that own the wells, so they need to pay for it money. And in villages that have the intervention, the money that they pay for the water is significantly lower. So people have more extra money because of that. Another thing that happened, as I said before, because they have more available time, so people have initiatives. This initiative is to open a small grocery store, or to open or to cook food at home and sell it. So people earn more money, and because they have more money, their economic condition is improved. And because their economical level improved, they are able to go and buy different types of foods that they didn't consume before. Okay, think that a family now able to buy meat, something that before they didn't have the privilege to do. Maybe they eat meat 2 times in a month, or 2 times or 1 time in a week. It depends on their situation, condition, but it's something that it's privileged. It's in this rural area of the world, it's privileged to eat meat. So just people that have a little bit extra money can go and buy it. Okay, another thing that we found that influenced the nutrition security is that we found that people started to irrigate small kitchen gardens. Why they start to irrigate small kitchen garden? Like you can say, okay, maybe before even in villages without the intervention, you can see all kinds of or kitchen gardens. But here, what we saw, that we're able to irrigate kitchen gardens in the dry season. This is a revolution, okay? Because think about it, that as I said before, dry season, most of water resources are dry. You are not able to collect water to grow a carrot or to grow a tomato. In the dry season, it's very difficult. So you able also to use the intervention water to irrigate your small kitchen garden. But another thing that we found, that the old water resources are now more available to use for irrigation, because most of the people now use intervention water. So you able to go and to irrigate more. 2 more reasons, and I will finish. We found also that schools initiate student nutrition programs. A few things that we found. One is because that in this part of Tanzania, in the Dodoma region, schools, it's mandatory for children to bring water from home. If you are not bringing with you water from home, you are not allowed to go to school. Why they doing this? There is a very good reason why. Because in the school, you don't have access to water. Think about the sanitation, the hygiene problem in these schools. Think about 100 children that study in a school, they don't have access to water. So kids have to bring the water with them to school, also to drink, but also for sanitation and hygiene reason. They need to wash their hands. And because they have now 10 minutes from their house, they have access to water, they're able to bring with them water every day to school. But and then they're able to go more to school. But another thing that we found, that schools that locate in villages that have this access to water, are the principal and also the parents decide to do initiatives that they bring some each family bring some food to the school, and then they cook to the kids in the school. Okay, because they have access to water, they are able now to cook in school, and also the kids are able to eat in school and stay more hours in school, and also the nutrition level of the kids become better, because as I told you before, like kids in these areas, like the nutrition level security is it's the lowest than any other group. And the last thing that we found is the improvement in the women living condition. It's because as I said before, that because women are the one that are responsible to bring the water, and are the one that are responsible responsible that there will be water in the house. Like the women are the one that woke up in the morning, walking all these hours, coming back, and with water, and everything is on their shoulders.